Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 147. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. What's up, Gary?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling. Um, we're also joined by Mr. Charles Singletary. What's up, Charles?
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the future. VR has arrived.
Wow.
Yes, it has arrived. And we're also joined by Mr. Michael A. Welcome back, Mr. Michael A. How's it going?
Thanks for welcome. It's going all right. It's going all right. New year, new me, as all the thoughts on social media usually say. So I figured I'll give it a try too. I'm joking, but no. Happy New Year to everybody. Yeah, 2016 should be a really really good year for gaming. So I'm excited, honestly. So I'm looking forward to things.
Most definitely. Yeah, for a very quick note, for those of you that are watching live, if you're watching live or you're wondering why we have a show earlier this week, we actually have other things going on this weekend. I will be checking out the Smite World Championships tomorrow, so we were unable to record tomorrow for that reason. But I'll talk about my experiences on the next show. And stay tuned for some coverage from that and a few other things. But before we get into the topics, because a lot went down this week, first we're going to talk about what we've been playing. So how about you go first, Michael A., and let us know what you've been playing.
The usual suspects. I got back into Warframe after a hiatus, and it's just like the main reason I stopped playing originally was just because I had pretty much got all the Warframes that I could at the time. I'd gotten all the weapons that I could, and taking a couple months, there's way more content now. Second Dream was a quest that actually added a substantial chunk of storyline that was missing from the game. Way more Warframes, way more weapons. I'm playing it I'm playing it nonstop now. I played some Gears of War Judgment Online a couple days ago for the first time in a while as well, just because they had 2v2 matches only. So that was actually fun. If only the hit detection wasn't so inconsistent in that game. They got to patch that. That's the only thing holding it back, honestly. Some Air Mech Arena as well. Got back into that, and of course, I do my daily Smite just to stay on my toes, get my daily logins, and then not get rusty. And like Rich just mentioned, Smite World Championships is going down this weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're into that, I'd say check it out. I played a lot, so I watch the stream from time to time. I can't really get into the announcing. Like, something about quote unquote esports announcing is just cheesy and forced and fake, and doesn't even seem genuine in terms of a gaming perspective. Like, it's just bad. I can't stand esports commentary. I don't know why it's so bad compared to like sports commentary, where like the people seem like they're just themselves. But maybe it's because gaming is still trying to find its identity. I don't know. But I usually ignore the commentary, focus on the gameplay. You'll see the best of the best of Smite play, and you'll see it's pretty good if you're getting to the game. So check that out.
In terms of the esports, do they tend to hire people who like are not really gamers, or do they like hire people who are actively in the Smite community on YouTube or something?
I'll be honest. I'm biased in answering this because I and a lot of other people I genuinely feel they hire people who aren't really gamers. They go for people who are professional. I don't have my camera on. I was doing air quotes, so just put quotes around professional. So basically, boring ass people that are family friendly. There's a couple personalities on the commentator scene that, they play the game because they know the technicalities of it. They know how much range each move has. They know cooldown times. They know the descriptions for all items in the game. So they know the game. And B, you can hear the passion from them when they speak, and it's genuine. And I think that's what separates them from the majority of the other esports commentators. Like, you can hear the passion come through the voice. It doesn't sound like it sounds like how you would envision them speaking if they were commentating a stream off camera with their friends and didn't have to worry about censorship or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. commentary for gaming is still, I mean, it's still new for obvious reasons. I honestly believe that it would be better if everyone just did what the fighting game community does for its commentary, because there's so many different personalities. It's such a diverse set of people, not just in terms of like physical representation, but in terms of like their preferences for games, or where they come from in terms of like what gaming backgrounds they have, and just the way they approach commentating, and it's very entertaining. Like that's part of the reason I love watching fight. I can watch fighting game tournaments nonstop, even like old broadcasts, because the commentating is just great. And I don't know why other games haven't really gotten there yet, but I don't know. We'll see.
Sounds good. How about you, Charles? What have you been playing?
Oh goodness, I didn't realize I was leaning back so far. I actually have not been playing very much, other than the PvP Company of Heroes 2 with David Jagno. Yeah, I've been on a crunch trying to get a lot of writing and stuff done, and trying to get things organized so we can have a strong year for content on the coalition on the site, and try to get some of my freelance stuff done. So gaming has actually fallen by the wayside for me for now. It's definitely going to pick back up because I need to finish The Witcher 3. I'm going to play some more Pillars of Eternity because their expansion is out. I'll probably start playing a few more of my casual games that I was into, like, Rocket League and all that. A friend of mine is trying to convince me to give Warframe a try, so I may do that also, because I've watched Hater stream it a great deal. And there was no reason why I just didn't want to play it or anything. I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't take the time to go out and do it, because I was playing a lot of like League of Legends. I was playing Smite for a bit and all that. So, and I put that kind of in that arena as far as my attention span would go. But yeah, I need to play a lot more. There's been a whole lot more reading than playing games at the moment. But I'll be back for sure.
That's a good thing. Before I go to you, Gary, just to make a very quick comment, one of our fans, Black Star on Twitter, he is watching. He wanted to make a comment about what Michael A said regarding the fighting game commentary. He said the fighting game commentary is on point, but the other esports stuff is whack. So perhaps you're not the only one that thinks that it's lacking.
I mean,
it's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Black Star for tuning in. I honestly, yeah, I never really, there is no way I could be the only one that felt this way. Like, if you watch fighting game commentary, there's no way that you watch that stuff and the commentators, it's like you still get a steady dose of just information, the technical information of the game, but just excitement and fun comes through when they're speaking, and just diversity. I know I'm saying that a lot, but like the commentators are all very different from each other. There's no, honestly, most of the people I hear commentate Smite, I can't tell who's speaking. They all sound the same. So.
Well, hey, sounds good. It's interesting. How about you, Gary? What have you been playing?
Nothing really. Same as last week. No updates from me. Just Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy. That's it. Because I haven't had much time. I started a new job this week, so I haven't had much time for gaming, unfortunately. Charles, if you do get into Warframe, though, I'll be happy to play that with you as well, because I've had that game a few times on my hard drive, and I actually did play it one time, but it's one of those games that's a little bit overwhelming if you don't have people to experience it with, I guess. So.
Okay, cool. I'm down.
Yeah, man, I definitely got to get on that Company of Heroes as well. So, yeah, that's it for me.
That's it for you. Yeah, okay, sounds good. I've also been playing again some of the same things. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, still trying to power through that, but there's just so much to do because it is an open world game. I know Tony Polanco always talks about the open world game fatigue. I understand what he's saying with that game, but it's still fun. it just takes up a lot of time to try to get everything. But I've been playing that in pretty much nothing else, just the game of life, trying to take care of some stuff because there's a couple of events coming up that I have to go to over the next couple of months. GDC, obviously, one of those events. So just trying to make sure I take care of my business so I can be there to not only provide coverage on the site, but also to do a few other things business-wise, for the betterment of everything else. So other than that, just taking it easy. But that pretty much is all we've been playing for this week. We're going to jump right into the topics because there are a couple of things that, some important things that happened this week that we have to discuss. So let's go in this order because, Gary, you suggested this. First order of topic is that, of course, we found out this week that there is a rumor going around that there will not be an Assassin's Creed game in 2016. The reason for that is because Ubisoft is planning to launch Watch Dogs 2 this fall. I think that's, even though they haven't confirmed anything, I think that's pretty much a given, and I think that it is necessary. But I want to ask you, gentlemen, today, what are your expectations for the next game? And do you think that this was the right move for them to make? How about you go first, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like we need a break from Assassin's Creed, just so people can start to actually want the series again, because I think a lot of people were fatigued by it coming out every year. And then, when Assassin's Creed Unity came out and all those bugs were revealed and everything, people just grew really tired of it by that point. So I think a break is needed, and this will give them the chance to rework the engine and everything, and then hopefully the next game will be even better. But they do have an Assassin's Creed movie coming out this year, don't they? I believe.
They do, and they actually have the side-scrolling 2D, I think it's 2.5D games that are coming out. One is actually coming out next week, but they have a collection coming out next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get an H or whatever kind of collection of all the Assassin's Creed games by the end of the year.
Yeah, I figure they'll do something to tie in with the movie, because I think the movie's dropping later this year. So I can see them doing something like that. Yeah. But the last game, Syndicate, was really good though. So if people haven't played it yet, definitely go and play that, because that's one of the ones I recommend. It was one of my favorite ones. But I might be biased because I live close to London, but it was still a great game regardless.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I also think that Syndicate is a great game. Haven't finished it yet, but I can see why they would need time, because if the studio that's making this other game is obviously the same studio that made Unity, and Unity had a lot of issues. So I think more time is a good thing. How about you? Have any thoughts, Charles?
I think it's a good thing. I feel like a lot of games are getting rushed anyway, especially over with Ubisoft and everything. So for them to take their time and actually, simply as that, take more time. The fact that they're taking their time with the game itself is very beneficial. I think it will be very beneficial for the game in the future, as far as what to expect from it. I just think we'll get a more polished thing. A lot of people say there's a lot of bugs and everything when those games launch. Everybody knows about Unity and the hellfire storm that was when it dropped. And hopefully, with having 2 years of development, instead of trying to rotate and get things out super quickly, or however many years it takes, we'll get a better polished product. And we don't get, because of them rushing it, is why I think the story from the original, what was supposed to be a trilogy, ended up so splintered. I hope we get a much more cohesive story with the Assassin's Creed games going forward. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Sounds good. I do agree. More time is necessary. So it can only be a good thing. How about you, Michael A? Any
Um,
thoughts?
I honestly, like everyone, I pretty much can echo everyone else's sentiment. I don't see how this is possibly a bad thing. Ubisoft has a lot of IPs that have large fan bases that they need to start treating better. Um, Assassin's Creed is at the forefront of that. It's a game that doesn't really need to come out every year, especially considering it's one of those open world, massive content games. Like you could literally come out with the game every other year. People would play Assassin's Creed. You can support it with DLC and buy yourself extra time to really polish and push the franchise forward with each new entry. So I would love them. I would love to see them adopt a policy where they come out every other year. Um, it also leaves the door open. Like I heard, if it, like was mentioned earlier, if Watch Dogs 2 is supposed to come this year, interesting. Let's see what they do with that. Another IP that underwhelmed many people, but has tons of potential. I like to see them go further with that. And who knows? Maybe they also need the time to finally give us another Splinter Cell, which fans for Splinter Cell have been asking for, I don't know, ever now. So, but yeah, this is just good news, honestly. And I hope we see this with more franchises, not just from Ubisoft, but other developers as well, realizing there's ways to make money off of a game. You don't have to have it come out every year. Like that's how you utilize DLC in a fashion that's consumer friendly. Instead of coming out with a game every year and having DLC, come out with a game every other year and have a DLC plan. I have a 12-month DLC plan to get you through that next year, where you still are able to get money from the consumers, and then on the plus side, we get extra content, extra extensive content, and that gives you more time to make the full game. So I don't know if this is them doing that permanently with the franchise, or if this is just a reaction to them, like you said, working on a Watch Dogs 2, or maybe they looked at the lineup at 2016 and realized, when the hell is that game even going to come out? 2016's lineup is going to be huge with a lot of games coming, and they probably just don't see an area where they could release the game, so they figured just hold it off a year. I don't really know, but I'm just hoping that I'm hoping for the more positive approach of it being, yeah, we're doing this just to strengthen the game and not because they don't want to get bopped coming out holiday season. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, with that said, very briefly, is anybody here excited for Watch Dogs 2?
I am, honestly. You can't. I mean, let me not say this because it's not true. It would be very difficult for them to put out a product that's worse than Watch Dogs 1. I honestly didn't have high expectations for the game, so when I played it, I wasn't as underwhelmed as a lot of people were that watched that movie trailer and thought that was going to be gameplay. And I was like, all right, good job. Yeah, that. Good luck. When they announced that before, like the next gen systems were announced, and it had newspaper and debris floating around, and people thought that was happening on a 360 and a PS3. I was like, yeah, you go ahead and keep hope alive. That's not happening. So now they have this next gen hardware. It's been, by the time that game comes out, it'll be what, 3 years. So I mean, they've got time with the hardware. They've got more time with the franchise. No one's really been talking about Watch Dogs for a while, so it's going under the radar. They've had years, so I would be interested to see what they would do with Adrian Pierce. And plus, I mean, I'm a Chicago native, so any game based in Chicago is just going to be cool to me. I hope they keep it in Chicago and they expand it more. That's one of the things that I think they didn't get enough credit for. They did a really, really good job representing Chicago in that game. Like, if you've ever been there, if you're from there, I mean, they didn't really take many shortcuts. It was pretty well done around downtown and like southwest side of Chicago. So I mean, we'll see. I definitely will give it a try, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm super hyped for it or anything like that. That'd be a lie. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I can't say that I'm excited, but I also can't say that I am completely disinterested, because the concept of Watch Dogs was great on paper, and the ideas that they had for it were very solid, and it just didn't execute. Simple as that. So with the time that we've had, Watch Dogs 2 may be that game that we expected or hoped that the last one would be. So I'm definitely gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep my eyes on it, and I'll be looking forward to a trailer. What I hope they do, They need to hire me for PR, because if they don't do this, it's really stupid. But when they announce this game or whatever event that they do it, they don't do no damn trailer, like don't like no alpha, none of that shit. You gotta go. This game is in damn gold status. It might be coming out in the next couple months, and here's gameplay. Like don't show us anything like this could possibly be the gameplay. Just the screen comes on straight to controlling the character. No lead up, no nothing. Because you're gonna have to get over a lot of hurt feelings from Watch Dogs 1 from the people like Hay mentioned that believe that the original trailer that they saw was gonna be the game.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of unfortunate when you think about it, because I understood what they were doing with that trailer. This isn't new to gaming. It's been going on for decades, where you show a game that's where you show a trailer that's either supposed to show you the spirit of the game or what they're shooting for with the final product.
Right.
Watch Dogs, I believe, is what they were shooting. That was what they were shooting for. Like, this is the type of game we're trying to make. This is what we're aiming for. And whether it be budget, I mean, because it is a brand new IP, even though it is with Ubisoft, it is a brand new IP. It might have been budget, time constraints, because it was delayed, and you can tell when the game was kind of released, it was like, this game actually still needed more time. You know, a culmination of things. You know, they just weren't able to meet up. They weren't able to, meet the standard they kind of put out there. We've seen that with other games. I mean, not to the same degree. Like a series like Fable, where Peter will regularly put out all of these things that he wants to be in the game. These like groundbreaking, never before seen gameplay mechanics and just ideas for a Western RPG. And then the game comes out and it doesn't even have half of the things he mentioned. But they're still good games. It's not what you mentioned, Like,
Right.
Hopefully they've learned from this and don't make that mistake again. Because you got to remember, gaming is it's very hearsay now. So once someone shows that trailer and that hype train gets rolling, you can't put out another trailer saying, "Oh, that's not game." No, it's too late. That hype train, it's already started. Like, good luck. That's all I can tell you. So
the thing with that, maybe Watch Dogs was the last time that we're gonna have to deal with that, because we haven't heard an uproar about the Division. Because if you watch the Division's old trailer and look at the Division now, it ain't nowhere near as good as that first trailer was. I ain't got no problem with that, because I know how to set my expectations. But still,
I've heard people complaining about the Division. Like, I've heard people saying, "Oh, this doesn't look anything like trailers." I'm like, the trailer was essentially like human beings running around. They can't do that yet. Like, your Xbox.
That shit was so damn beautiful.
But like, I mean, I don't know. The sad thing is, I think we're gonna see that again this year. There's gonna be some games. There's some of these games coming down the pipeline. They're not gonna look like exactly they were shown. People are probably gonna complain. I don't think Quantum Break's gonna look as good. Cause I'm sorry, no, you can't do that on Xbox hardware. I'll say that right now. That game looks too good to be running on Xbox One. Don't be mad, fam. I don't care. That game looks gorgeous. I'm not saying it's gonna be ugly when we get it, but I don't think it's going to look like the trailers we've been shown. You know what I mean? There's a couple games coming where I get that feeling where a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, this isn't up to the same standard that we've been presented." So. But we'll see. Me personally, I won't care anyway. Good game is a good game. I'll play it. So.
You know what? I would like to respond to that Quantum Break comment, but I'm going to save that for later, because there's another topic when we get to it. I did want to say, though, because you guys brought up the Division, I did see an article this week that I laughed when I saw the title, when it said Destiny is about to become irrelevant in March because of this game, and I thought that was interesting. But I'm looking forward to the Division. I know people say it looks a little different from what they saw. I don't give a damn. The game is probably going to be great. So we'll see what happens. Gary, did you have anything to add to Watch Dogs 2? I know you're looking forward to it. I know you probably already pre-ordered it before they even announced the pre-order.
I would if I could, because I actually enjoyed the first game. It wasn't, compared to other open world games like that, And of course, if you compare it to the likes of Grand Theft Auto, it doesn't compare because the open world didn't have that much depth to it. But I did like the game for what it was for the most part. Like I liked the concept and the idea of it. And I feel like this time around they can really execute because they'll learn from the things that they did wrong in the first game. So I'm definitely looking forward to Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah. And I'll just say this. I know I criticized the first Watch Dogs. I didn't say the game was complete and utter garbage. I just said, yeah, it's a bit disappointing because even though Michael A. has just said he wasn't hyped for it, well, this was a game that they wanted you to get hyped for it because this was like, oh, this is the first next-gen experience you're going to get. So they added a little bit to that. But needless to say, I think the game is still decent enough, and I'm very much looking forward to what they do with the second game because what it comes down to is the developers listening to the fans. They did that with the last Assassin's Creed game, and it turned out fantastic. So I'm confident that this game should also be somewhat decent also. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. We're going to move on to the next topic because there isn't anything else to say about Assassin's Creed. We don't know any information yet. So this news dropped today. It was reported that the Half-Life writer, I believe it's Marc Laidlaw, that's his name, correct, Gary? Well, he retired.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, well, so he officially retired and left Valve today. So I think that the question Gary wanted to ask now, does this mean that we are still getting Half-Life 3? Allow me to be the first to answer that question and say there is no chance in hell that you're going to get Half-Life 3. Who wants to go next?
I'll say something, and I'm probably going to steal a little bit of steam from Hayden on this one because he'll probably say something similar. But I think we've brought it up before that Half-Life 2 was the pinnacle of gaming technology when it came out. All right, like the physics system, the visuals, and everything. It executed well on the story side of things. It was just a lot of fun. It was crisp. There weren't many issues with it. It's going to go down in history as one of the greats ever. With that being said, if they're going to do a Half-Life 3, they're not going to do some little, just to add on to the story, just to do another one like a lot of these games that come out. All these Call of Duties, all these Assassin's Creeds, like, no disrespect if you're a fan of them, but there isn't a weight, like a heavy weight of advancement with each one of them. Like you get a little bit more here, a little bit more there. If they're going to do Half-Life 3, we're going to have some sort of new technology that is polished and proven and accessible to everyone and can completely change the game. Now, VR could possibly end up being that, but it's not at the proven and polished point yet for gaming. A couple years down the line, I could imagine us seeing a Half-Life 3 trailer at that point with some incredible VR interaction and stuff. They're going to be doing some shit that people never even thought about. But right now, yeah, people are going to have to get over it. And as far as like the writer leaving, man, the Half-Life 3 story could have been written years ago, and they're just sitting on that shit for now. Like they don't have to start, now to get the game going. They could have started writing the third story. They could have had the story for the third game done while they were doing the episodes that were coming out after Half-Life 2. So, people are gonna panic, but just calm down. Like let Half-Life live where it is right now. If it never comes out, it never comes out. If it does, it ain't gonna be no time soon. So just I gotta get off that. It's cool that it's a running joke with Steam though, and they keep trolling people. So I love that part, but gotta let it go.
I feel like there might be some kind of goal that Valve has, like they need X amount of Steam accounts or Steam machines out in the world before they consider, making this game, so that they know it will sell to like a huge mass audience kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why I said that they needed to be Steam. They need the proven and accessible technology out there.
Yeah.
The Steam boxes could be a means to that end. It's just that's not the only thing they'll need. They need a Steam box that is at a decent price, that is also VR capable, with probably the third edition of the Oculus Rift that comes out with all of its stuff at an accessible price as well. I can see if we get to the point where there's a VR bundle with a Steam box that's like $500, $600. Whenever that comes out, Half-Life 3 gets announced. That's my theory.
I honestly, I agree that this isn't a huge deal, but I'm in the camp of people I'm just fed up with them. There's no reason, I don't understand why Half-Life 3 hasn't come out yet. Like, this is one of the biggest games in gaming history in terms of what it did for the genre of shooting, what it did for immersion in games, like what it did for giving people multiple ways. Like, Half-Life is a linear game where you can still craft your own way through it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, there'll be puzzles there, but there's not one solution to the puzzle. Figure it out. The puzzles are dynamic. So what if you get there and you blow up the cart, you blow up a crate or something too soon? Well, you still got to get where you got to go, and the easy way of getting there is gone. Oh, find another way to get there. It's not impossible. You just got to figure it out. Like, these are elements that, people are still not really pushing forward in a lot of games coming out now. We need a Half-Life 3 more than ever in gaming, and there's no talk about it coming. I honestly figured, Steam boxes are on the market. We'll probably get it sometime then, because that would make sense. You put out Half-Life 3 on Steam box. We're talking about Steam box being, on the level as like a Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony. Like, it would have been that big of a deal. Nope, because they're making so money. Valve's making so much money off Steam that they just don't care. I know I'm sounding cynical, but that's what it always seems that way to me. They make so much money off Steam that they figure, why bother making video? Like, why bother making Half-Life 3 when we can just sit here and profit not making the game? It's really unfortunate. I want them to make the game a lot. Obviously, I'm a Half-Life fan. The orange box. If you ask me what was the greatest gaming deal of the last generation, orange box by far. You got all the Half-Life. You got Half-Life 2 and all of the versions of Half-Life 2 that came out, plus Team Fortress and stuff in one package. And it really brought to attention for a lot of people who hadn't played Half-Life before, a lot of people who hadn't really been PC gamers. It gave them the ability to experience a lot of what they missed. Or the people who love Portal so much, the Portal franchise. They have no idea what that really... again, that's another mod off of Half-Life. Like, Counter-Strike, all of these things kind of go back to this game. And instead of us having like an actual idea of when the game's coming, Half-Life 3 is like a running meme. It's a gag joke, and Valve is in on the joke. They joke about it with people. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm not saying this is like the end of the world or anything, but I want Half-Life 3. I know it's selfish of me to say that, but I want it, and kind of sucks that I don't think it's coming. And I'll have kids before Half-Life 3 comes, and I'm not having kids anytime soon. So that should tell you, like, probably not getting this game for a hot minute, and that's a problem to me. I don't know. But I do agree with Charles that that Mark retiring. I don't really. He's done his job. I hadn't even thought about that. Him and his crew could have already written the story for Half-Life 3, and they're just sitting on it. Maybe they're waiting for some technical boom to allow them to do something gameplay-wise that they can't do. Maybe they are waiting for VR to take off because there's going to be heavy VR elements in Half-Life. Who knows? But him retiring, while that's not a good sign, it's not like an end of the world kind of thing because
it's not like the Half-Life story was something that, like, whoever wrote this story is the only person that could ever craft something.
Exactly. There are millions of Half-Life fans that know the canon just as well. Some of those fanatics maybe even better than Mark does. So I'm sure they'd be able to come in and take over the reins. And just because he's retired doesn't mean they couldn't reach out to him and get feedback from him and stuff like that. So, even though I really, really want the game, and this isn't great news. It's not necessarily like, oh, game's never coming now news. Like, it just means, okay, so there'll probably be new people working. And I already imagine if Half-Life comes out this year or is announced to be coming out soon, I didn't think it'd be the entire same squad of people working on the other games that'd be working on this. No, there'd have to definitely be new blood there. So, I mean, now we know definitively that'll be the case. I don't know. I, Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Valve right now, just because I don't. I mean, Steam is cool. It's an amazing service, obviously. Um, they will have more competition soon on the PC front as more publishers realize that they can essentially do this very same thing. So it's like, why put their games on there when they can put their games in their own service? Also, like I said, I want Half-Life 3. So until I get Half-Life 3, and I know this sounds like I'm throwing a toddler temper tantrum, I don't care. Until get Half-Life 3, they're not really impressing me with much. I don't care. Oh, Steam summer sales. Is Half-Life 3 one of them sale games? No, it ain't. Don't care. I just don't. So we'll see.
So I just want to make a real quick comment. I'm not sure if at any point in that particular when you were talking, you said Xbox, but you just turned on my Xbox One. So that's why I was like, what the hell? Because this is halfway across the other side of the room.
Oh.
That's interesting. So yeah, I found that to be funny. Gary, do you have any thoughts that you would like to add to this? Or you don't care about Half-Life?
I mean, I never really played the first two games extensively. But no, I don't really have much thoughts besides, what I said earlier. I feel like Valve has a set number of goals that they want to accomplish before they start entertaining the idea of creating this game. So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. And I mean, to me personally, it doesn't matter if the game comes out or not, because I wasn't that invested in the previous games to begin with. But I mean, I do appreciate those games for what they did. I do recognize them for the accomplishments and technology and everything. But besides that, hey, I'm not too bothered either way.
Well, I believe there are good points all around. I guess we'll just have to see. Knowing Valve, they absolutely have no obligation whatsoever to actually drop the game because Steam is doing so well. I mean, we'll have to see. But I definitely am not thinking that it is going to come anytime in the immediate future, because I'll be very surprised. It's like when you had those announcements at the Sony conference this year. A lot of games that I did not expect to come are coming now. So if this does come later, I'll be surprised. But for now, I definitely don't think it's going to happen, I would say, in the next 5 years or so. We'll see what happens, though. Never say never. So let's move on to the next topic. And since you guys brought up VR, it would be foolish of us not to acknowledge the fact that we now know that the Oculus Rift costs $599. We actually have someone on this show that has already pre-ordered it. So tell us, how do you feel to be one of the first to pre-order it, Mr. Singletary?
I feel like I'm in heavy debt, my brother. That's how I feel. Nah, I'm excited. I knew that it was going to be in the high tier of prices, because that's what happens when a new piece of technology comes out. I actually was talking to David and all. Actually, it was in the Game Journal group. I had said that I thought it was going to be $700 before they announced it, because of some of the things that the guy had said. I wasn't one of the people that followed his phrasing years ago when they were saying that they were trying to keep it at 300. If I would have been one of those people that heard him say that, my immediate thought would have been bullshit. There's no way it's going to be $300. I imagine 300 being the price point that they work toward in the future to make it more accessible, but I knew there was no way in hell it was going to come out at $300. I'd be surprised if PlayStation VR came out at $300, honestly. But that's what they're shooting for. I'm thinking that'll be like $450 or so. But we'll see how that goes. Um, I'm excited. It looks wonderful. The potential is off the charts for what this is going to bring, not just to gaming, but to technology in general. A lot of people, think of the Oculus Rift and they only think of it in the gaming side of things because, I mean, when you're in that bubble, we're talking about a whole bunch of people that we discuss games with. They're in that bubble, so that's all that they look at often. But it's going to have a lot of applications for mental health and working on phobias and things like that. It's going to have a lot of implications in architecture. It's giving you a virtual workspace. Like I don't think people really grasp what that means or what that could mean. And I'm sure that there's so many things that I can't even think about for that. But one thing I do know is like this $600 price point. That's just pretty spot on, and people need to get over it. Like, did y'all really think it was going to debut and everybody's going to be able to grab one? No. Like, we're gamers. We know damn well how that works out. Like, just think about the console releases. You know what I'm saying? Think about the PlayStation 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens every time. So these people are really, really nearsighted when it comes to VR, and it's really frustrating to even try to have a conversation with people with that nearsighted mindset. And then we have people that believe that I think David said somebody said, well, why would I pay $600 for that? Well, I can get Google Cardboard for basically free. Man, if you don't fucking read a book or something like like people blow my mind. Like it's crazy. Do your Googles. Like that's my thing this year. Do your Googles. Do some searches. Like we have internet. We can search for anything. Literally anything. And y'all still ignorant. Like how can you be so ignorant about something? Well, okay, I take that back. It's okay to be ignorant of something. It's not okay to be ignorant and try to speak on that thing without doing your research. Like just I don't care if you Google one article. Come at me with some notes, like some bullet points. Just know something. Damn. But yeah, I'm excited about VR, man. And of course, I work for the coalition, so when it comes, and I should have my computer ready to go. I'm going to put a lot of content out there. I'm going to do some videos for it. There's going to be an unboxing, of course. I'm planning a lot of things around this whole VR thing, like even changing my room around a lot, so I actually have a workspace for it. So I'm very, very into this, and I'm jumping into it early. I know the whole thing with you're supposed to wait beyond the first implementation of some tech, wait for the bugs to get worked out, but I want to be at the forefront of this on the journalistic side of things. So I'm going to be writing about these things. I'm going to be one of the people telling you about these bugs, and I know that I accept that as a challenge that I'm going to have to work through, but I'm excited for it.
Yes, that's a great idea, great strategy. And yeah, we do know exactly how that is because a lot of us we made sure we got that PS4 and Xbox One early for the same reason. So fully understood. Michael A., what do you think about the pricing of the Oculus Rift, and are you planning on investing in one?
Honestly, I'm always for VR. I'm definitely interested in it. It's just that I haven't seen, and this just might be ignorance on my part. I haven't seen software that makes me think, on a gaming side at least. I've seen some pretty cool applications for VR, but from gaming, I haven't seen any gaming software that's VR related that's made me say, okay, I need to go ahead and hop in really quick. I've seen it. It still feels like it's going through that weird tech demo kind of phase, which is understandable with any new tech, obviously. So, yeah, I'm still on the fence, but I'm definitely interested in you guys have always heard me champion like new ways and to interface and play games. It's not that I don't want controller gaming to be there. Obviously, controller gaming is always going to be a part of gaming. Fight stick gaming for fighting games obviously will always be there. I just want there to be more alternatives for gaming because you don't understand how limiting controller gaming is. There are a lot of people that don't have the ability to hold a controller and press the buttons or the hand-eye coordination. not just because of like a lack of skill, but because of physical ailments, whether it be age or handicap or whatever, that should still be able to delve into this medium. And VR kind of provides them a way for people who are lacking that to play games. Like I was just thinking about that article that came out this week of the blind gamer who, after 5 years, finally sat down and was able to beat Ocarina of Time. Like, to me, that just shows, hey, this man was really dedicated to experience that game. He has my respect to beat that game blind. I don't know that I could do that, honestly. So if there's people like him in the world that really want a game but have things that are holding them back, shouldn't we be trying to find ways to allow them to game? VR will allow a lot of people to play video games, and that's always a plus.
Other things outside of that too, like traveling, like
yeah. But in terms of the price, I don't people are weird. It's like I was telling you guys earlier. Like, people will complain $600 for virtual reality, something that we don't freaking have. That new technology, we don't have it yet. That's too much money. Let me go pay $800 for that new iPhone though. It's like, what? Where are your priorities? Like, where is your consistency? That doesn't make any sense. You just paid $600 last gen to play PS3 at launch when it first came out. Xbox One launched at $500 because of the Kinect. Like, you understand that technology isn't cheap, especially when it's new. Like, it's never going to work that way. It's always going to have a cost. $600 for virtual reality? Are you kidding? Honestly, they could have charged well over $1,000, and I'd have been like, well, that makes sense. You guys are complaining about paying $600 for VR. I don't understand that. It's like I was saying earlier. Like, if somebody invented a hover car and that hover car costs like $10,000, people will complain that that's too expensive. But you'd go spend twice that on a basic car that's no different from every other car that's on the road right now. But I don't understand it. If you already have decided that VR isn't for you, cool. I'm not judging you on that. But to then argue, like, how are you going to say what is and isn't too much for virtual reality? It's never been done
no
before.
Point of reference.
There's no point of reference. There's no market. You can't say, what is the market value of virtual reality? Someone in the comment section, leave it for me. That you've gotten your tech DeLorean, you've gotten into the fucking future, and you've seen how much virtual reality costs. You come back and inform us, plebes, of what the cost of it is, because I don't get it. $600 honestly seems more than fair for what you're getting.
Out there. If you compare the Oculus Rift to the fucking Google Cardboard, or if you compare it to like the Samsung VR, which I'll give you benefit of the doubt on mistaking it for being the same as Samsung VR, because just the name itself. But do your research, please, because that device itself is missing a whole lot. It is a completely different experience than what the Oculus Rift is going to be bringing. So
the Samsung VR is the thing that where you can put your phone into it, right? Into the headset and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. I was wondering. I don't even know the pricing of that, but I know that's not cheap.
You can get it for $100. You can get it for $100. You can get it for $100 right now, if I'm not mistaken. And there's going to be
because you're using your phone.
Exactly. Your phone is the centerpiece of
and you have to be using a modern phone, like a Note or something that's worth
it doesn't work with every phone.
$500-$600 plus $100 for the. You see them?
People don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, don't think about the whole thing. It's not the whole picture. They just want that little piece to try to make their point. But you got to look at everything, all of it. And even then, you can have the best phone in the world and have a Samsung VR. While it is an incredible experience, you can talk to David Jagno. He's been writing up about it a lot, and he's been blown away by it. It actually makes me more excited that he's blown away by that, and the Oculus Rift has the potential to do way, way more.
Yeah, it does. That's what I was going to say. What I've seen from both of them, I'm like, that's an apples and oranges comparison. So anyone knows make that argument, it would just be someone who clearly just doesn't like Oculus Rift from the get-go. It's like, what's the point? I don't know. I'm not even like some big Oculus Rift fan or something. I'm not wearing a T-shirt with Oculus Rift or anything on it. It's just someone comes to me and saying, we're doing virtual reality. $600 is the cost we're charging for you to get into this. And my first thought isn't that's way too much money for virtual reality. Now, if you're saying that's too much money, period, okay, I could see that. You know, if your funds are tight or you're a college student or whatever, yeah, I get that. But to say that's too much money for virtual reality, that's not the right value. It's like How do you know? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's a very silly argument. I can understand people not wanting to pay $600 for something. I get that. But at the same point in time, this is something that's new, not just in terms of it now coming out in the market, but in terms of the tech being brand new, and you're paying far more for things that aren't new at all already. So what's the point? I personally, if the software is there, I would have no problems dropping $600 on Oculus Rift. None at all. Um, there's I mean, like Charles is already. There's tons of potential there, or just even for more than just gaming. Like there's tons of potential there for developing. Like people are already developing apps for phones and your laptop stuff. You can start developing apps for stuff like that. Where I had an idea of like just now, like develop an app where you can make it easier for people that are enlisted in the military to be able to literally interact with their family while they're abroad. You know, things like that.
Yep.
Like instead of just being a video call or a phone call away from them, you can literally someone interact with them via VR. Like I'm not saying it's the same thing as being there, but that's a much more immersive form of connection. Like there's so much that you can do with this. It's so much bigger than just video games. And all people are looking at it is it's like, oh, $600 for something I play games on. It's like you're being too small-minded. You gotta think bigger picture.
Exactly. That opening price point wasn't for you. With that mindset, it wasn't for you in the first place, because you wouldn't be able to accurately scale like what this device even has the potential to do, because you only think of it in that way. But another example of what you were talking about, like the military experience things with your families. David was playing freaking Dungeons and Dragons with people all over the place, and can see them like in there. They're playing a freaking board game together, and like just, and that's a small thing. Like another small thing, you could like very very small thing. You could not have any TVs anymore in your household, or your big screen. Like screw getting a big screen TV. You throw on the VR goggles, you got a whole damn movie theater to yourself. Like this is just gotta think.
I missed I had tickets to the game, but I couldn't get there for some reason. My car broke down, or the weather prevented me to go, or I had obligations with my family. But I can watch the game at home. Oh wow! There's some app that you can download that gives you access to VR cameras they've installed around the stadium, where you can get that atmosphere as if you're actually at the stadium watching the game versus just watching it on your television. Like people
by the
are
way,
laughing or scoffing and stuff like that. That's huge.
I don't even know if Mike said that with the knowledge of what's actually out there right now, but they've added the 360 cameras that are used for VR recording to sporting events.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. See, there you go. So I mean,
basketball, I think is the first ones that are getting it.
That's crazy to me. So you're going to be able to do all of that, and people are still trying to figure out why you're paying $600 for this. These are the same people. If you ask what phone they have, they'll tell you they got the newest phone. These are the same people that still have tablets in 2016 for whatever reason. I don't know why you would have a tablet if you're not an artist or something, but they still have iPads or something, and they spend tons of money on that. But virtual reality, that's too expensive. Can't do that. $600 is way too much money for that.
Yeah, just imagine like they have like a subscription that you can pay. Like right now they have the NFL thing, season pass. You can watch every game, right?
Yep.
Imagine if they put like because they have cameras that do this now that record in every direction. So if you're accessing that feed, you can just turn and look in every direction. Imagine that in the middle of a basketball court, like hanging down. And you put your goggles on. Let me check in on how the Warriors are beating the shit out of insert name here.
Yep.
It just look live. Like I don't think people understand how incredible this stuff is. Like this is crazy. Like this is the science fiction future that we've been reading and watching, and we're getting to that point. We're like that much closer to it.
And I think that's part of the problem too. It's like people want all that stuff to happen. They don't want to pay money for it. They just want it to they just want it to happen, and they should have it because they deserve it because they're alive or something. They don't understand that things have a cost. Things aren't cheap. Like the investment behind people, like the amount of money people have invested in VR. Like these people are taking a huge risk. They've got to see return on an investment. They deserve to, honestly. Otherwise, VR wouldn't even be here. So, I mean, I know $600 isn't cheap, but $600 for brand new tech, I I don't know what to tell you. Um,
Shit, people were paying $600 for Blu-ray players, and that's all it did.
I forgot about that. That is true. That is
Blu-ray,
true.
bruh. Y'all
Yeah,
was paying for that 1080p. Put your disc in there. Like that's all it did. Nothing else.
nothing
Yeah,
else.
man. Lots of people paid 600 for PS3s, man.
Yeah, like
And that
come
was
on,
fine
man.
though, right? That was fine. But for virtual reality, oh no. For something even big that has a bigger scope than just gaming, oh no, that's too much money, humbug. It's like shut up. That doesn't even make sense. Like listen to how you sound. $600 for virtual reality, that's too much money. What are you talking about? You just spent $400 on a PS4 and on an Xbox One
But
or Xbox One. But that's too much money for virtual freaking reality. Are you high?
so wait a
Like in
second.
what world?
So hold on a second. I have a question. Um, so if PlayStation VR, do you think that that's going to be cheaper or more than Oculus Rift?
It'll be cheaper.
It'll be
It
cheaper.
has to be cheaper because
Yeah.
first off, it's not going to be as visually intense as the Oculus can get to. Like
Yeah, it
it
can.
won't have the same technology.
Doesn't have the same tech in it,
Because
so it's
yeah,
more
because this
constrained.
has to work with the PS4. And I'm pretty sure if you take the PS4 specs and put them up against what the Oculus Rift is recommending, it probably won't match it, or
Nah,
it'll be really, really close. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be cheaper, and that's fine. Like that's perfectly fine to have the PS4. Like I think Sony is in a good position because they were talking about it on Throwdown in the comment section, like being a viable alternative to Oculus Rift. Um, Torrance was saying that it's not a viable alternative, and he's wrong in that wording. I think what he wanted to say, it's not the same as Oculus Rift. No, it's not. But it is a viable alternative for someone that doesn't, for a person that doesn't think of a fucking VR thing outside of gaming. That's perfect for them. Get you a PS4, get you the PlayStation Morpheus, which I think is a much cooler name than PlayStation VR. Get you one of those, and you're set. It'll be it'll be simplified. You don't have to upgrade your device and worry about all that kind of stuff. It's a viable alternative for someone that only thinks about those things. But if you want the full experience and you want to tap into and be ready and be future prepared for everything, future perfect your entertainment system and everything in your household, the Oculus is where you want to go. But we've been saying this whole time, there's people that don't think outside of gaming. The PlayStation VR is going to be perfect for those people, just like consoles themselves. They're popular because of the accessibility and the simplicity of it. You don't have to worry about how much RAM you need or graphics card or the CPU and GPUs that you need to match up and all that. You don't have to think about that kind of stuff. You just buy the console, you know it works. PlayStation VR is going to be the same. You buy this VR, you know it works with your PS4, and you're going to get an entertaining experience from that. The games that look like that are coming for that, you'll miss out on some that are PC exclusive, which you're on a console. You've been missing out on a shit ton of PC exclusive stuff for the longest time anyway. But you're still going to have a really fun experience.
Sounds good. Gary, any thoughts?
Well, I was gonna, pay 600 for the Oculus, but then I found out you can't use it for porn, so I'm not going to anymore. But
But that's wrong. You're wrong. You can use it for porn. Matter of fact, David linked in the game journal that there's a company that's turning three specific actresses into digital virtual porn stars. Like it's
No,
happening.
all right, I'm pre-ordering.
I'm not gonna say that I know these things for certain, right? I'm not saying that hated greatness is a man that deals with filth. I'm not saying this, but I may know people who are, let's say, connoisseurs of filth, and these people may have told those people, who then in turn told me that a certain company has already begun developing resources to tap in to VR, various forms of VR and whatnot, and to provide to provide adult VR content. So I mean, this isn't a game. And Torrance sent me that video. God damn it, Torrance, of a guy, let's say, consummating a marriage with a woman, right? But the woman wasn't real. It was a digital woman, like almost like anime-like. And there was some weird device for below his belt apparatus, and then he was wearing the goggles. And I guess, other than the fact that it was being recorded, this dude really thought he was alone with that chick because, you know, he had himself a jolly good time, you know? We all knew this was going to happen. I'll say it. This is an additional benefit of VR. Call me a pervert. I don't care. It's true. It's a deeper issue than what I'm saying in jest. There are some people who aren't fortunate enough to be able to enjoy these kind of things in the real world, be it due to physical disability or whatever, and this provides a comfort for them. You know, I mean, we were joking about it, but I'm being serious. Like, that's actually legit. So, I don't know. VR, like I said, it's way bigger than gaming. Like, exponentially way bigger than gaming. And it's just that the reason I'm really interested in it in a gaming aspect is because while it's bigger than gaming and it's going to grow, when it grows, it's going to, I see it as something that can help gaming in the long run as well. You know, I don't think it's getting. I don't think Oculus Rift. I don't think any of this VR stuff is really getting the credit that it's due. But maybe it's just because I've always been looking for something more in gaming, and we're starting to see it now, so I'm getting excited. I don't know. And like you guys said, I'm really. I have nothing but respect for Sony for what they're doing. This is going to be huge for them. They're the lead in the console race. They have 36 million, I think now, consoles out in the world. That's a huge install base. So
right on in there.
You know what I mean? So even if only like 20% of that install base gets into this, that's still millions of people playing VR right there on their PS4s. That's huge. I want to see if Nintendo's going to do anything with it because I mean, if you have
just about to ask, what if it turned out the NX was a virtual device?
I mean, first off, you got to give Nintendo props. They technically did try this before anyone even thought it was feasible with the Virtual Boy, and everyone laughed at them. So what if the NX?
Even though I had fun playing Mario.
Oh, Mario Tennis on the V. I don't care what anybody says. Mario Tennis on the Virtual Boy was fire. That was the only. I played that. I used to go to. I think it was it Target or whatever store I went to as a kid. I would play the hell out of that. I didn't care how much of a headache I had after like 30 minutes. It was fun. The game was dope. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Nintendo on the NX have like VR support in some fashion. It would be smarter. It'd be really dumb of them to come out with that system this year or next year, and it just doesn't support virtual reality. It's like, what are you doing, Nintendo? Like, you did this first, and then you see it coming big again, and you don't tap into it. So I'm just curious to see if Microsoft's gonna. I mean, I know they have that room thing they're doing. What's it called? Oh my God. It's you know how in Star Trek they have the holodecks, HoloLens.
Yeah.
They have the HoloLens and then the Holo Room thing they're doing as well. So I want to know what they're going to do with that and how they're going to connect that with VR because I mean essentially that's still VR technology. So
bro, give me a Danger Room from X-Men and I would lose my
now
shit.
You see where I'm
already
right there, right? Because I was literally about to make that analogy. I want to be able to set up a danger. I come into a room and say Xbox Danger Room, right? And then bam, obstacles. It's like the Legend of the Hidden Temple in my room all of a sudden, and I've got to jump. Like, dude, this. Oh my God, I know this is far fetched and like not gonna happen anytime soon, but dude, this is gonna be dope. That's all I can say. This is a good time to be a gamer. It is a good time to be a tech fan because we got some good stuff coming.
Let me make two quick statements. First and foremost, once again, your uncanny voice prompted the Xbox to now go to Bing. Connect.
I have no.
No, because in Danger Room, and then it goes to Bing. So that proves that the Xbox, the Connect has some flaws. I
don't know what to tell you. Man.
And I also wanted to say this. Thank you for clarifying when you brought up Nintendo because I thought you were saying, I'm curious to see what type of porn ends up on the NX.
Oh, no.
Nintendo's not going to go in that lane.
Yeah.
Damn well.
What I'm.
We do not want to see the princess in
No,
a unprofessional manner. No.
That already
well, I'm not gonna say that.
that already
I want to
Right.
see that hentai. I need that hentai, man.
Okay, see now, there's a lane. Okay, there's a lane for stuff like this to exist, and it can exist. We just gotta keep it in that lane. This is, I'm not, again, hate it. It's not. I'm not condoning the dojins and the private third party adult stuff people make of characters like that. I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just saying that that's not necessarily bad. If you get what I'm saying.
I know, I get exactly what you're saying, and as I was listening to you talk, I see that there was a news story that came out today. It said PlayStation 4 and Xbox One users have been using Pornhub. So that's funny. I guess you don't need virtual reality.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't need it, but it'll be better. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but it may be better, is what I've been told. So
Since we're speaking about porn, I got a funny story.
we don't need to do this. Oh my god.
I started my new job, and it's like all digital marketing and stuff. So we do a lot of like SEO and keyword research and stuff like that. And we was on Alexa looking up the top websites visited by a certain country, which I won't reveal. And X videos was up there. Let me just say that. So there was that awkward moment, where I was sitting with my manager, going through this stuff, and then a lot of porn sites were coming up. So it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny to see.
Wow, man. So we got to get back on topic with gaming. How we got that discussion?
Well, I'll say this: going back to gaming, like I was saying earlier, like, there's a lot of dating sims in Japan, or not even just Japan, actually, in the Southeast Asia gaming market. Periods, dating sims account for a pretty large amount of revenue over there. I think that that'll just continue to be the case, but I think you'll see some of those games start to come overseas with VR because, there's a lot of lonely people in the world. Social media and internet has allowed people to connect, and yet for some reason they don't really connect, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, so hey, dating sims. I mean, I might dabble in a couple and put some reviews up on the site. For research purposes exclusively, of course. So yeah, I'm excited about VR. I mean, obviously that's.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. We all look forward to that because I'm pretty sure there'll be some insightful feedback, so to speak.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, just to cap off that topic, yeah, I think Oculus Rift. I would love to say that I am interested, but I have two issues. Number one, I need to get a gaming PC first and foremost because we already know Oculus Rift is not going to work on the Mac. We do know it may work on Xbox, but no. If I'm going to get an Oculus Rift, I'm going to go all the way in and get the PC to go with it, so we'll have to wait for that. And number two,
I can't imagine it working with the Xbox, though.
Oculus Rift?
Yeah.
Not that.
Isn't it going to be in a limited capacity kind of thing?
Maybe so in a limited capacity, but like if that were the case, then my PC right now should be able to run it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
actually, you're right. You are right. Not to take a shot at Microsoft, of course, but we already know Xbox One not as powerful as
PS4. Yeah.
So.
But I'd be pissed. Like,
I wouldn't even think it from a technical standpoint. I think they could get it running from a technical standpoint on Xbox One. It was just more of a how would it interact with the Kinect. And then that's the problem. Like the fact that there are people with Kinects and then people aren't without Kinects. It's like, if you're gonna have VR there, how are you gonna have it? How is that gonna work for people that don't have Kinect with Xbox Ones?
Well, hold on. Let me stop you right there because the Kinect is irrelevant now. They have made it irrelevant with the last dashboard update. The fact that it somehow heard your voice, that is a rare occurrence. So we already know that Microsoft ain't really behind Kinect anymore because then that feature would have been implemented with the latest dashboard, and in case it's not. So we'll see what happens. But
I think the Oculus comes with its own sensors too, so it wouldn't really need Kinect.
That's a
Okay, I
plus.
got you. That's true. Okay.
That's a plus. All right, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the software. I want to find out more about what games are on there. So hopefully, there's a lot more to look forward to. I will tell you right now, if I was to make a choice today as to whether or not I want to get that or PlayStation VR, well, I have a lot more friends on PlayStation VR PlayStation 4 for now. So I probably will go with PlayStation VR, but who knows how many I'll get once I get a PC. All I know is those that have been telling me to get a PC, if you're watching this episode or listening to it, when I get a PC, you all better add me as a friend, because if not, well, I'm going to have some words to say on the following co-op after I get my PC. Yeah, where were you guys at? The ones who say, yeah, buy a PC.
Where was that when I was? Sorry.
So what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Where your ass was at? I caught that shit.
What they say? What?
They dropped some future bars on this damn show. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it on Nice and Start Table.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for later on tonight.
Real quick, can I just touch on the discussion I had with Torrance, just to clarify my points on it? So, I mean, I fully support what the Oculus is doing. It's obviously, the more advanced of the VR devices, and PlayStation VR is serving, just the PlayStation platform. But the point I was trying to make is because the PS4 is the top-selling console right now, their VR device is going to be more accessible to gamers because, that's like the #1 gaming platform right now. And I mean, obviously there's tons of PCs in the world, but not everybody uses it for gaming, or even if they do, not for hardcore gaming. So not everybody is going to want to buy an Oculus anyway. So I feel like Sony has a huge advantage here because they can really take on that whole VR market with their thing. But my concern is that they're not going to have as much software anyway to carry it off, because Sony have been known to not support their devices, like Vita and, PlayStation Move and all these other peripherals and projects that they've brought out previously. They haven't been known to support them fully. So I think that will be the downside to it, but I do feel like because PlayStation VR is likely to be cheaper, I think more people are going to initially adopt that than the Oculus, and Oculus will be for the people who seriously want to experience VR, like very seriously. So that was the point I was trying to make in that discussion I had with Torrance.
I would agree. Oh, go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
Well, allow me to make a quick statement. We now see, I had to know that there was a shot coming at Sony at some point in what you said. Well, it's to be determined. I mean, they already said that there are 100 games.
The shot is facts.
Well, the thing is, though, they already said there's about over 100 games that are in development for the device. We did see some stuff at a few of the past conferences, the little teaser trailer, so on and so forth. So, yeah, as someone who did purchase a Vita, and I can tell you right now that it was good for about a week. Then I was wondering where are the games at. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, it may take a little bit of time, but I think that I don't think they'll have a problem with the software, because as you're about to see this year, all the games coming to PlayStation 4, yes, it took some time for them to have, but I think that it's going to pay off this year, and I think this is the same with the PlayStation VR. Those titles will eventually pay off. I just hope that they actually are going to support it, meaning that there are going to be stuff made specifically for the device and not just games that have VR capabilities when you use the device. So, so far there are some that they did show that are for the device. So we'll see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead and say what you was going to say, Michael A.
I was going to let Charles go because he has his finger in the air, so I figured to get something really
Go ahead, Charles.
Hey, yo, Gary. I'd like to point out something on your little.
He took the hat off. Here we go.
While it is sound, the whole Vita thing and PlayStation Move thing, Um, something you're kind of forgetting is they don't have any competition on the console side when it comes to VR. And why do I say that? There's no middleman to have to fight through between their partnership with the PC developing VR guys and the games that come to the Sony VR device. There's no other competition. So, like, if somebody wants their game on anything other than PC, which will not have as much of an install base, there's only one other place to go, unless you want it to be on a cell phone. And that's PlayStation. Like, that's going to be the only option. So the whole game concern like that, you can just let that fizzle right on out, bro.
I mean, I wasn't even, trying to do all that, taking shots and stuff. I was just saying they don't have a good history of supporting the devices that they put out. That's all. But you're right, though. There is a huge opportunity there for all these people that make stuff for the Oculus. They can port it to the PlayStation VR or vice versa. So
yeah, what I find to be interesting is that they're actually PlayStation exclusive VR games. I actually didn't expect that to happen, especially this early. That there are games that are only going to be on PlayStation VR versus the PC.
I did.
Is there any kind of list of these?
Yeah, there's a list. I'll shoot it to you, sir.
Yeah, I expected it to happen. Sony kind of needs that to happen. Mobile gaming is still growing. It's already huge, and it's still growing. For mobile gaming to already have an avenue into the VR market, it's kind of, I'm not going to say that's going to kill Sony, but Sony's kind of looking over the shoulder like, okay, we're supposed to be alone. We're supposed to be the lone alternative to PC when it comes to VR gaming. That's not going to be the case now. A lot of people have phones, and a lot of people are gaming on their phones and not even realizing it. There's tons of games on the mobile market now. So if they start coming out with those VR games, where all you have to do is go get that accessory. Like, let's say you have I don't know if Apple has a VR. I don't know if Apple has any VR plans for the iPhone.
No,
I'm sure they don't.
No.
You know how Apple works. They gonna wait till everybody fix all the other shit and then patent shit that other people came up with and then make their own VR that doesn't have any flaws whatsoever and charge that good old Apple price for it. So we got a couple years for that.
All right.
So Apple always, they take something that already exists and make it 100 times better and more stylish. So.
No, they don't make it better. They just
make it no, they do not make it better. They wait till it's better and make it Apple. They don't make it better, bro.
They don't make it better. This is a lot of these things that work. You can't make them work better. They just work. They make it stable. I'll give them that. But whenever Apple does it, for the Android market, obviously the Samsung VR and all that kind of stuff. I know people. My boy Arthur already has one. I know people who have it already, and I honestly see this VR is really going to help the mobile scene. Now that I think about it, but I don't know. Like if we're talking cost, yeah, PSVR will be. I don't know if that's the official name yet. Will be cheaper than Oculus Rift. Will be a cheaper option. Sorry, than Oculus Rift, but it won't be cheaper. Well, for people who think short-sighted, it won't be cheaper than mobile gaming VR. So if people are really that cheap and really get into virtual reality, and they already have a modern cell phone, they would just go get that, and bam, they have VR. Also, and this is true, of course, for Oculus Rift. I don't know that PSVR. If you're really, really into VR, or you really, really get the full experience of it, or you want to do more with VR than just game, I don't know that PSVR is where people are going to go for that. I'm not saying PSVR is going to be limited to gaming, but clearly that's their main focus for obvious reasons, is a game console, first and foremost. Whereas everyone has a PC. This is why I don't really understand what Microsoft's doing, because Windows 10 is actually doing really well for you. And I'm sure that there's VR support in it. Actually, I remember people saying that there's definitely VR support in Windows 10 already, but they haven't really announced any plans of, doing stuff with like the Surface or anything like that to really tap into that. They really need to get on that because they're dropping the ball. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm gonna let you finish because I got something to say about Microsoft. but go ahead.
Oh yeah. Actually, I forgot what I was gonna say now. So you might as well go ahead.
Okay, so since you brought up Microsoft, why don't we just go ahead and just jump into one of the big topics of, all the news that dropped this week. In my opinion, this news definitely is rather significant news. That's why we wanted to make it the main topic. Now, Microsoft did release a release schedule of what they have coming out this year, and they made two announcements. First and foremost, they announced the Scalebound is delayed to 2017, and then they announced that Recore is also coming out later in 2016, which we already knew anyway because there's no way in hell that game was coming out in spring and we ain't seen no gameplay footage.
Yeah, no gameplay, nothing. Yeah.
So, let me have to clear my throat real quick. I definitely wanted to ask what you think about this because I have a thought about, what they're doing as far as, I have this theory that, I feel like a lot of people have the perception that Microsoft is always going to have the same games every holiday no matter what because, they had Halo this past holiday season. This upcoming holiday season, later this year, is going to be Gears. And we already know there's going to be another Forza because they have that every year. So my thing is that I think that, having a new IP, obviously, that is more appealing to me. This is why I was looking forward to Scalebound. I know that Fern Gully pointed out in the comment section, we've been looking forward to that game. Yes, a lot of people was looking forward to that game because it's in something new that, you can, look forward to, but now it's a lot of the same stuff coming out that at least that we know so far that's coming out this holiday season. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think about that? Because, we didn't really get to discuss this because this delay just happened. So let the fans know what you think about the delay and about what we know is coming out so far this year from Microsoft.
Are you asking me or Charles or?
Well, I'm going to ask you first. I mean, the others can chime in, but I want to ask you first. We know you are Xbox. You prefer Xbox, so I wanted to get your opinion on this.
I mean, yeah, I prefer Xbox, but I do. I like all of them though. I personally don't have a problem with it. I would rather if you have, especially with a new IP, you can't afford to put it out when it's not ready because that's going to be people's first impressions with that IP. So you gotta knock it out of the park. So I don't mind them delaying it or even pushing back Recore. What I will say is this: also, Microsoft, they're in a lose-lose situation because they probably looked at what happened with Tomb Raider, and yeah, I know Tomb Raider finally sold over 1 million copies, but that's not a game that should have been struggling to sell 1 million copies, especially with the quality and the critical acclaim that game has. It should have done it twice that easy. So what they looked at is a lot of people were saying, well, that game didn't come out at the right time. They should have scheduled it to come out, against more lenient competition or whatever. So they're probably looking at that and saying, okay, well, if Tomb Raider struggled holiday season, or in that window, maybe we don't want to do that with a game as big as Scalebound. Because Scalebound, now no discount to Recore. Recore is going to be huge for them too, but Scalebound is going to be big for them if it works out like it's supposed to. That's going to be a big new IP that's just on their console. They can't afford for that to bomb. So they're probably looking at holiday season this year, 2016, is stacked. Not only just on PS4, but on Xbox's own console as well. You don't really want a lot of games going up against Gears on Xbox. They'll lose because Gears is already established. So they're probably thinking, we can go ahead and push Scalebound into 2017. I mean, we have Quantum Break coming out quarter 2-ish. For 2016 anyway, so that's a new IP that we're going behind heavy. Recore goes into the second half of the year. We can keep that third new IP for the next upcoming year. I don't see it as that big of a deal. If this was a game that was already an established IP being delayed, yeah, if Gears of War 4 got delayed into 2017, oh, that's a big deal. I'd have questions. It's like how you've had this much time. I would really have a lot of questions. But Scalebound, I see it as a positive thing. I would rather people take the time and have people naysay them than put out the game when it's not ready. You know what I mean? Or put out the game in a window where it's pretty much doomed to fail. As for the comments about Microsoft releasing the same games over and over again, I mean, people aren't wrong in that. But I mean, that's true of all three of the major consoles right now. They all release the same games over and over again because those games make money. I mean, we have an Uncharted 4 coming out this year. Do people forget that already? There's rumors that God of War is supposed to be coming back. People are hyped for Final Fantasy VII again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are the games that people want to play. Like, these are moneymakers. I don't even see it as a bad thing. Like, these are a stable source of income for the gaming industry. So, I mean, if anything, that helps out. That creates new jobs. That puts food on developers and publishers' tables. So I'm all for it. But I don't understand why Microsoft gets this weird bad rap for doing exactly what Nintendo and Sony do. Especially since this gen, we've seen them put more effort into making new IPs. And when they make new IPs, people's arguments about those new IPs is, well, they're new IPs. They're not tested. Who cares? It's like, well, wait a minute. You just said last gen that all they did was put out the same games. Now they're putting out new games and you don't care? It's like they can't really win with some people. But, I mean, I guess that can be said of Sony, too, with Xbox fanboys or whatever. It's like some people you just can't really win with, so.
All right. I'd like to make a real quick comment, and then I'll get Gary and Charles's take. I think you made some very good points about, you know, I don't have a problem with this game being delayed because there's another game that I recall that they released during the holiday season or around that time, Sunset Overdrive. That game is fantastic, but I know it did not perform as well as they would have hoped because, you know, I guess you could say the timing, also because they were still trying to repair their image, something that they are still trying to do. So I could understand that. But I mean, I don't think it's impossible to think that there will be more delays from Microsoft. I mean, Gears of War, quite honestly, the Gears 4 footage we saw, I don't think that was enough footage. If you was to tell me that game is not coming out this year, I would say, okay, that's believable because they probably got more work to do on that. But maybe we're going to see a lot of footage. I would assume we're going to see a lot at E3 this year because we didn't really get much last year. Same thing for another game, Sea of Thieves. You know, I don't really know if that game is coming out this year either, because it seems like it's a big game. It's going to take a while for Rare to work on that. But again, I don't know how far into development they are. I do think that the comment about them always having the same games is that's pretty accurate because we know Halo Wars 2 was coming out this fall. So once again, another Halo game. And let me just say right now, I'm not necessarily a Halo Wars fan. But I can tell you that, you know, I'm not necessarily a fan of having a Halo every year either because I want to see new stuff on the system. But I can understand there are fans that's going to want that, so it's fine. It's whatever. But I definitely would have to say I am concerned, though, for exactly how intact that holiday lineup is going to be. I'm glad that Quantum Break we're getting that in April, so that's good. But as far as the rest of the games coming out this year, you know, I guess they gave us a window, so to speak, and they did say that there's going to be a few surprises we don't know about yet. So I'm very curious to see what these other surprises are because I don't know if these other games are coming out. The other thing, too, that I think was missed in that announcement when they announced the games, they said that the Crackdown 3 multiplayer is coming out this summer. I didn't hear anything about the full game. They only specified multiplayer. So, yeah, there's a lot more questions that need to be answered. But what do you think on the subject, Gary?
In terms of the delay or them having the same game.
Wait a second, Gary. Are you traveling on the?
Danger Row Robbins, we can barely hear you. Like, are you speaking to us through a rift in time and space? What is going on right now?
Talking to us in the potato.
Like, what is that?
Can
Are
you
you
hear me
using a
now?
styrofoam cup and a wire? Okay,
Yeah,
now we can.
He had to move away from his porn that he was watching. That's what.
Oh my
God.
Yeah.
I haven't got the Oculus yet. So. But yeah, was that question in regards to the actual delay of Scalebound or Microsoft having the same games over and over every year? The same
Okay, yeah,
lineup.
it's a combination. It's a combination of both. I guess the easiest way to put it is, well, we can agree that the delay is fine. The delay is acceptable, but what did you think of the lineup that they have coming out this year? Whether or not that lineup is going to be better, because every year now they say the greatest games lineup. I'm pretty sure they're going to have something similar that they say this year. So that's the question. Do you think the
Yeah,
lineup is still good enough?
yeah. I mean, we had this whole discussion slash debate last week. Me and Charles specifically, talking about comparing the lineup.
And you got Ether. I remember that. That was dope.
I didn't get Ether.
Oh, you got Ether, man.
Nah.
I said it. The comment said it. You got Ether, bro.
I just had to bring another perspective to the conversation because you can't just go with um, the console that's dominant all the time. Sometimes you got to make a case for the other platform, and I feel like Microsoft does have a great lineup of exclusives.
You realize what site you're
Now,
on. You
now,
can't do that.
Hey, look, you tried it, but no, this is the thing. It wasn't that kind of thing, though. It was something that he said. It was a comparison that he made that was completely an unfounded thing that he should not have said. And he got himself
yeah,
Ether. He
which
set
one in
himself up.
particular? What are you talking about in particular?
When you were talking about how these IPs were proven, the Microsoft IPs were proven versus the PlayStation one, and you said Scalebound and Quantum Break, and I'm like, what the fuck? You got Ether after that one, bro.
They are proven because they
Okay.
Hey,
All
how
right.
are they proven? They haven't come out yet.
Exactly.
Now, my point with that was that we've seen a lot of those games, and some of the PlayStation games, like I keep forgetting the name, the Joe Danger guys. What's their game called? No Man's Sky.
Um,
Yeah, we barely see, like, we don't know what kind of game that really is. Like, it could come out and be the worst thing ever, based on what we've seen. So,
I
They're
can
all
kind of see
unproven.
what he's saying though. I will say that for games like, especially with Scalebound, after what we saw at last year's E3, where they finally fleshed it out, and of course Quantum Break, where we've seen gameplay, we've seen what they're trying to do with the story and what they're trying to do with the franchise, with the cross interaction with the television show. Like,
yeah.
we've seen way more, I guess, of those IPs. But then
Yeah,
again, like, there's IPs like Recore from Microsoft that we haven't really seen a lot of either. So I mean,
But here's the
there's
thing.
See, look, I think
It would
I
be
think
cool. Go ahead.
I think Sony are really creative with their game reveals, like their trailers and stuff, because they show you like a portion of the game, and you don't know like what else is in it. Like Horizon, it looks fantastic, and they did explain some of the things that you'll be able to do in the game, but we haven't really seen much of it. Like,
But that's the thing. I was actually going to say I can understand your point if you were being even with all of your comparisons, but you're not. We've seen about as much of Horizon that we would need to see because it's a third-person action game that we've seen of Quantum Break. And Quantum Break is doing things that we haven't seen with the time stuff and how it looks visually and stuff. But you're saying that that's more proven, and we've seen enough of it. But Horizon, Horizon isn't even a difficult concept from what we've seen of the game. So you're not doing apples and apples there.
well, I mean, they're talking about all these different things you can do in the game, but all we've seen is take down a dinosaur. So that's all we've
wait,
seen.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I have to make a statement. I just want to say this truly does feel like a debate of PlayStation against Xbox because Gary, you sound horrible. What happened to the quality of over on your side? That's clear. That's the Xbox side. Because I don't know, it's a lot of static. Like, what's going on over there?
wow.
What is it? My mic quality dipped again.
Yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
really staticky.
something's going on with that
You
microphone.
sound like
Yeah.
you're,
I'm sorry.
sound like you're
Let
about
me
to beat the Normandy right now. You're speaking to HQ. It sounds really bad.
let me plug out this Sony mic real quick.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
I don't understand. Yeah, it's 20. You know what? It's 2016. It's 2016. Let's let let's let all that. No more shots at consoles. No more shots at fanboys. It's just both systems have good games coming. I don't. Anyone who argues this, well, I don't need to be talking to you because you live in you live in Earth 3 and I live in Earth 2. So clearly our realities are in line. But on this Earth, both consoles have good games coming. I'm not. What I was trying to say is I kind of understood what Gary was saying, because if you flesh out all we've been shown, and I mean, of course, it's been announced longer. If you look at all that we've been shown for Quantum Break compared to all we've been shown for a game like Horizon, we've been shown way more detail and information about Quantum Break.
But
that kind of makes sense.
But he also includes Scalebound in that same thing, and that doesn't work.
What do you mean, what?
He includes Scalebound in that same thing. We've seen
literally
one level and a hint of co-op at the end of it. That's all we've seen. We don't know how linear or non-linear it's going to be. Like, we don't have any other details. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. That's why I was saying, to me, it's pretty much the same overall, because there are some new IPs coming. Like, you say we haven't seen a lot of No Man's Sky, and you know what? You're right when you look at only what Sony has shown. But, like, you forget, there was a PC conference at E3. They showed No Man's Sky at the PC conference. They showed a lot of No Man's Sky at the PC conference. I saw a lot of that game there. So I'm not saying I know everything about the game, but I have a much better idea about what No Man's Sky is and why a lot of people are excited for it after seeing the PC conference. Now, that brings into question, this is one of your biggest indie games on PS4. Why didn't Sony have as much information for No Man's Sky? I don't know if there's some contractual obligation for media information release or something for E3, because we know how they sign deals and stuff like that. And it's not really that big of a deal, because obviously if all that stuff we show for No Man's Sky was on PC, that stuff will be on the PS4 version. So it's the same game essentially. And I mean, my biggest issue with No Man's Sky is just, when the hell is it coming? I still don't know. But I can't say that now because I don't know when Scalebound's coming. So I mean, all these games are just kind of being moved around here and there. I still don't have a damn date for Last Guardian. I just know it's supposed to come this year. Do I believe it's coming this year? No. I've had my heart broken, and I know, like I know it's gonna get broken again. I know it's not coming this year.
Oh no, but they said 2016. It's coming.
Yeah, they said 2016, but it could literally be December 32nd, 2016, right? They could pull something like that. This is a leap year. There's an extra day of this year. They'll figure something out. I don't think it's coming this year because we haven't been shown anything. And I mean, obviously it's still the first week of 2016, but we haven't been shown anything like that shows the game is anywhere near ready to be released. Like, I mean, have you guys seen anything?
No, not yet.
Me neither. So I mean, maybe they have some big hoop. I mean, who knows? There's lots of time between now and E3, so they might have some ether just sitting there waiting. You know, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that game comes out. I'll be the first to go get the butter for the crow. I'm ready. But I don't know. This year, there's honestly, even if in all seriousness, even if Last Guardian doesn't come out this year, even if it was like, we pushed it back to 2017. I honestly, as long as they give me a date for when they push it back into 2017, I wouldn't be mad at Sony at all. Because they have, both of those companies, both Sony and Microsoft, have tons of games coming out this year already. So, I don't mind. I think what's going to come down to is the placement. Like, when are these games coming? I mean, Street Fighter V comes out in less than a month. Or, no, not less than a month. Exactly a month, essentially. Because it's February, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty big for PC and PS4 players. That's pretty big for fighting game players. Like, I'll be on it. In fact, you should be following. If you're a fighting game fan, you should already be following your boy. So, expect to hear more information. I'll get some posts up on the site as well. And there's some tournaments coming this weekend, so definitely follow me. I'll link you to the Twitch for all the tournaments, and we can just engage about that. But yeah, Street Fighter V is already on the horizon. When is the Division coming? Isn't that March? Or did they push that? Yeah. So I mean, already within a month, within 2 months, we're gonna be having two of the biggest games coming up this gen already. So I mean, this year is going to be stacked full of games. Mirror's Edge, I forgot where they pushed that back to. I think that's summer now. I don't know. There's lots of games coming. So either it doesn't matter what console you have, or if you have all of them, like me, essentially, you're gonna have a good time this year. So hopefully people spend more of that time actually playing the games and not leaving angry comments on the internet, because that's unfortunate.
Real quick, because I know I think we're about to end the show. But
You're
Charles,
going back to 1984 again. I can barely hear you.
oh man, I don't know what's going on, man. You can't hear me?
No, we barely hear. It literally sounds like you're traveling through time, like you're running through the Speed Force, and you're too fast.
No.
How about now?
Now you sound like Barry White, and I don't feel safe.
It's like you're while you sound louder and you're closer to the mic, it's still the static is still there. Okay, it went away. Did he mute himself?
Yeah, Gary.
Okay, he muted himself.
You got to get rid of that that Xbox microphone that you got over there.
Yeah, a Sony mic. So if it's that Sony mic you get with the PS4,
no,
that needs to go ahead and get tossed because no. You better go get those gold edition joints I saw that Sony released for like $40. Those are dope.
Well, final thoughts on this topic. I think we've already said enough about this. Unless you guys have any final thoughts you want to say about the topic. I think you said it best, Michael Lay, that there's games on every platform, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add on that.
All right, so on that note, we're going to go ahead and get ready to end the show. As I said, we wanted to do a quick show because we got plans this weekend. But any final shout-outs that you would like to give? How about you go first, Charles?
Yeah, thank you again for having me on. I love to discuss all this stuff, and if we ever have any more VR conversations, make sure I'm there. Especially if Tony and them want to throw down, as they say. We could definitely take it to the streets. But check out the Panel to Panel comic book podcast that debuted on the Coalition this week. It'll be recording every Wednesday. That's a really, really cool one. You get to see some old faces. You get to see me. Tony Polanco is going to be on there at some point, but you also get to see some new faces. We got Jordan, Miss Red Panda. We got Jeff Blaze, the Gray Sun. We got a good cast of people over there, and Sky as well, and Super Soldier. So it's a really good cast. It's another great addition to the Coalition that we hope you all enjoy. Feel free to share it with all your peeps. And after this, we're going to have the Knights of the Turntable podcast recording live, and we're going to be talking about the greatest hip-hop storytellers in hip-hop. And we have a playlist that goes along with that if y'all want to check it out. Features like Atmosphere, Eminem, Scarface. There's a bunch of people on there.
I know Doom better be on there.
He's not on that particular playlist, but the playlist,
my heart's broken.
We didn't put everybody on it that's going to be a part of the conversation, but Doom is going to come up. So, yeah, it's dope. It's dope. But that's it.
Sounds good. I actually checked out Panel to Panel. Comic fans definitely want to check it out. Very entertaining show. So glad to have it on the site. Looking forward.
Was that the post where they were talking, where they explained that they're? Wait, no, I think I might be confusing because there was one where they were talking about how they're going to focus on the Green Lantern Corps and.
Yeah, that was it.
That was them.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Avengers, because each panel to panel is going to be like a group versus a group, or a story arc versus a story arc, or character versus character.
Okay, gotcha.
And we had the Green Lantern Corps versus the Avengers Initiative on that.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, check that out, people.
How about you, Michael Lay? Any shout outs?
Yeah, I guess shout outs to all the people who hit me up on Twitter and Facebook and support about this new job I'm trying to get. I hope I get it. I hope I can give you guys some good news. That'd be great. Shout outs to the people who just hit me up on my stream, period, while I'm streaming, whatever. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys want to tune in, yeah, just check it out. It's just hated_greatness on Twitch. It's not hard to find me. I stream pretty much anything anyone asks me to or whatever I feel like playing. So, especially with Street Fighter coming out, you'll see me a lot more. I'll be on my PS4. I guess I'm gonna actually have to renew my PS Plus, so I think I need that to play Street Fighter 5 online. So I'll get that so I can stream that for you guys. So you'll be able to see that. But shout outs to the usual people I talk to games about. Obviously Charles, Tony, Dave, Riku, Jamaican, all you cats. Yeah, man, I don't really know who else to shout out. I guess I could say shout outs to my parents, but they're Nigerian and they'd just be weird, so I won't do that. But yeah, that's about it. And all the Middle Eastern and Asian women in the world, shout outs to you guys. Hated loves you. That's about it. Oh, shout out to the future of VR. My Android wife and the VR children I'm gonna have. All of that. Shout out to all of that. Yeah. I don't got
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So I'd like to give a shout out to all the fans. Thank you for checking out the show. Those that continue to support us, we greatly appreciate it. If you have not noticed yet, or if you might have missed it, we actually are giving away a free copy of Street Fighter V Collector's Edition.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely would encourage you guys to enter for a chance to win. We're going to be doing monthly giveaways. I'm not going to reveal yet what we're going to do for the next couple of months, but trust me, you definitely want to pay attention to this because we're going to be giving away some pretty good stuff. So once again, thanks for checking out the show this week. Stay tuned because we got quite a bit coming up to you guys soon. And if you're still watching, make sure you come back within the next 30 minutes or so, and then you can watch us live on Nights of the Turntable.
Yep.
Yup. Yay.
So, is Gary back now? You have any shout-outs, Gary, or is your mic incapacitated at the moment?
I think he's currently hoping Marty McFly not accidentally date his own mother. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh. All right, well, that's it for this week's show. Oh, there he is.
Wait, you can hear me?
It's still messed up, but go ahead and get your shout out.
Give a shout-out. Try to give a shout-out.
Shoutouts to all the listeners. Shoutouts to Charles. You know, I'll let you have that this week. You know, I'm gonna get all my notes together and I'm gonna come at you. Shouts to you. Shouts to you guys. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all next week.